Within a sheet metal part, there are several corner treatment options. The first we'll look at is the welded corner. And for this, you want to have two corners that are close together. And select out a face from one, and it'll go ahead and connect the two faces. You can also change the fillet size if you want to fillet, and you can also remove this out if you want this just welded as a straight corner. And we can go around and add this to several of the corners. So you can see we have this welded corner with the radius, one without, and we had several other options within the corners. And you just want to note that you can't use the other corner options once you've used the welded corner. So you'd want to use those options first before adding in any welded corners. We can also add weld symbols to the welded corner, and these should show up in the drawing as well. I'll go ahead and delete these out. The next option we'll look at is a closed corner. And this allows you to select out two faces and essentially close the corner while leaving a small gap. And there's a few options you can select from. We can have these overlapping, or simply set off from each other in this manner. And you can also change a few of these options as well. We can also do this with a relatively large gap. If we wanted to close these two out, we can choose one for the faces to match and one for the faces to extend, and then come in and add those closed corners in. And depending on how you set up the closed corner, you may or may not be able to add the welded corner. So if I select this face, for example, and the vertex it's supposed to stop on, this won't be able to create the welded corner. If, however, I change the closed corner to an overlap, then I can come in and create this welded corner. And for a non-flat pattern, the last corner option is a break corner trim. And this allows you to select out corners to create either a radius or a fillet. Or you can also select out the faces to automatically create those corners. And if I select a face with no corners, it'll just go ahead and leave that alone. And it looks like since the area for a fillet here was too small, it wasn't going to allow me to add that break corner in. But you can see on the rest of the corners, we now have these fillets. I can also add this on this back face, but you'll notice that I can't select this rounded face to fillet out that corner. So I'd have to do this separately. One workaround for that is that I can unfold this bend just by choosing this face and then choosing to unfold. And then I can go ahead and sketch out a fillet for this corner. Or sketch out a profile that's going to allow me to create a fillet. So this isn't probably how you would normally draw it, but this is a quick way just to draw up that fillet on that edge. And then you can come back in, fold this back up, and now you also have the radius on that corner. The last option in the corners is within the flat pattern. And this will allow me to trim the corners within this flat pattern. So if I say collect all corners, this should populate all the corners. In this case, it doesn't populate this one that I want. So I can go ahead and select that and any other corners that I might want to trim and click OK. I also have the option of changing the relief type. And I can also center these on the corners or on the bend lines. And we can also break the corners within the corner trim option. But since we've already broken all the corners, it's not going to populate anything. And we'll go ahead and click OK. And once we exit the flat pattern, you'll notice that none of that geometry has changed. The corner trim option applies only to the flat pattern, so that however you create this, if you create this by hand or water jet it, that those profiles will be cut out. If we wanted these to apply directly to the part when it's unfolded, or rather folded, we could unfold the part and then create all those cuts manually and then refold the part back up. But that's how you use the corner options for the sheet metal components.